Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna. So let's get started. Today is the last session that we would be doing for Krishna book. Now this is 90th chapter. This is very transcendental. What we are about to read. Actually, that's a problem with spiritual knowledge. Less and lesser people value it. So be it, and let's get started. This is the last session that we will be doing. This is chapter 90th. For all the queens, just a minute. For all the queens, Krishna was the only worshipable object. They were always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, the lotus-eyed and the beautifully blackish personality of Godhead. I did not share the link. Let me share the link in this one. Good. It's okay.
Hare Krishna. So let's get started.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sorry, I did not did this session. Do this session last time around. The problem with this was that my eyes were paining very badly. In fact, this morning too, my eyes were paining really badly. But now it's okay. So let's get this done. It has been waiting for quite a while. Okay. I don't know. This is glaring. And just give me 1 minute. Let me reset this. This is not working properly. Maybe. Now it's better. I was not able to see the screen properly. Just a minute. Sorry for keeping you waiting. For all the queens, Krishna was the only worshipable object. They were always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, the lotus-eyed and the beautifully blackish personality of Godhead. Sometimes in thought of Krishna, they remained silent, and in great ecstasy or bhava and anubhava, they sometimes spoke as if in delirium. Sometimes, even in the presence of Lord, they vividly describe the pastimes they had enjoyed in the lakes or river with him. Some of such talk is described here. The queen said, "Dear Kurari bird, now it is very late at night. Everyone is sleeping. The whole world is now calm and peaceful. At this time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is sleeping, although his knowledge is undisturbed by any circumstance. Then why are you not sleeping? Why are you lamenting like this? Why are you lamenting like this throughout the whole night? Dear friend, is it that you are also attracted by the lotus eyes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his sweet, smiling and attractive words exactly as we are? Do those dealings of Supreme Personality of Godhead pinch your heart as they do ours? Hello Chakravarti. Why have you closed your eyes? Are you searching for your husband, who may have gone to foreign countries? Why are you lamenting so pitiably? Alas, it appears that you are very much aggrieved. Or is it a fact that you also are willing to become an eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? We think that you are anxious to put a garland on the lotus feet of the Lord and then place it in your hair. Oh dear ocean, why are you roaring all day and night? Don't you like to sleep? We think you have been attacked by insomnia, or if we are not wrong, our dear Sham Sundara has tactfully taken away your gravity and power of forbearance, which are your natural qualifications. Is it a fact that for this reason you are suffering from insomnia like us? Yes, we admit that there is no remedy for this disease. Dear moon god, we think you have been attacked by severe type of tuberculosis. For this reason you are becoming thinner and thinner day by day. Oh Lord, you are now so weak that your thin rays cannot dissipate the darkness of night. Or is it a fact that just like us, you have been stunned by the mysteriously sweet words of our Lord Shyam Sundara? Is it a fact that it is because of this severe anxiety that you are so grave? O breeze from the Himalayas, what have we done to you that you are so intent on teasing us by awakening our lust to meet Krishna? Do you not know that we have already been injured by the crooked policy of personality of Godhead? Dear Himalayan breeze, please know that we have already been stricken. There's no need to injure us more and more. Dear beautiful cloud, the color of your beautiful body exactly resembles the bodily hue of our dearmost Shyam Sundara. We think therefore that you are very dear to our Lord, the chief of the dynasty of Yadus. And because you are so dear to him, you are absorbed in meditation exactly as we are. We can appreciate that your heart is full of anxiety for Shyam Sundara. You appear excessively eager to see him. And we see that for this reason only drops of tears are gliding down from your eyes. Just as they are from ours. Dear black cloud, we must admit frankly that to establish an intimate relationship with Shyam Sundara means to purchase unnecessary anxiety while we are otherwise comfortable at our home. Generally, the cuckoo sounds its cooing vibration in the air in the end of the night or early in the morning when the queens heard the cooing of the cuckoo. At the end of the night, they said, dear cuckoo, your voice is very sweet. As soon as you vibrate your sweet voice, we immediately remember Shyam Sundara because your voice exactly resembles his. We must frankly admit that your voice is imbued with nectar and it is so invigorating that it is competent to bring back life to those who are almost dead in separation from their dearmost friend. So we are very much obliged to you. Please let us know how we can welcome you or how we can do something for you. The queens continued talking like that, and they addressed the mountains as follows. Dear mountain, you are very generous. By your gravity only, the whole crust of this earth is properly maintained. Although, because you are discharging your duties very faithfully, you do not know how to move. Because you are so grave, you do not move hither and thither. Nor do you say anything. Rather, you always appear in a thoughtful mood. It may be that you are always thinking of the very grave and important subject matter, but we can guess very clearly what you are thinking of. We are sure that you are thinking of placing the lotus feet of Shyam Sundara on your raised peaks. As we want to place lotus feet on our raised breast. Dear dry rivers, We know that because this is summer season, all your beds are dry and you have no water. Because all your water has now been dried up, you are no longer beautified by blooming lotus flowers. At the present moment, you appear very lean and thin. So we can understand that your position is exactly like ours. We have lost everything due to being separated from Shyam Sundara. And we no longer hear his pleasing words. Our dear heart no longer work properly, and therefore we also have become very lean and thin. We think therefore that you are just like us. You have turned lean and thin because you are not getting any water from your husband. The ocean through the clouds. The example given herewith by the queens is very appropriate. The riverbeds become dry when the ocean no longer supplies the water through the cloud. The ocean is supposed to be husband of the river and therefore is supposed to support her. Unless a woman is supported by her husband with the necessities of life, she also becomes as dry as a dry river. One queen addressed a swan as follows. So everything being addressed here is in ecstasy. Now, in this ecstasy mode, queens are addressing this one, different this one, nature, right? Although talking to nature sounds like it is impossible. Actually, that should be the state of a devotee. A devotee should always be immersed in the thoughts of Krishna. When someone is than Krishna. Now, when they would be seeing nature, what other subjects would they be talking of except Krishna? So they are talking about Krishna. One queen addressed the swan as follows. My dear swan, please come here. Come here, you are welcome. Please sit down and take some milk, my dear swan. Can you tell me if you have any message from Shyam Sundara? I take you to be a messenger from him. If you have any such news, please tell me. How Shyam Sundara is always very independent. He never comes under the control of anyone. And by the way, these are queens who control Krishna. He never comes under the control of anyone. We have all failed to control him, and therefore we ask you, is he keeping himself well? I may inform you that Shyam Sundar is very fickle. His friendship is always temporary. It breaks even by slight agitation. But would you kindly explain why he is so unkind to me? Formerly he said that I alone am his dearmost wife. Does he remember this assurance? Anyway, you are welcome. Please sit down. But I cannot accept your entity to go to Shyam Sundara when he does not care for me. Why should I be mad after him? I am very sorry to let you know that you have become the messenger of a poor-hearted soul. You are asking me to go to him, but I am not going. What is that? You talk of he is coming to me. Does he desire to come here to fulfill my long expectation for him? All right, you may bring him here, but do not bring him his most beloved goddess of fortune. Do you think that he cannot be separated from the goddess of fortune even for a moment? By the way, these queens are not different from goddess of fortune. Now these are all ecstasy. Could he not come here alone without Lakshmi? His behavior is very displeasing. Does it mean that without Lakshmi, Shyamsundara cannot be happy? Can't he be happy with any other wife? Does it mean that Goddess of Fortune has the ocean of love for him and none of us can compare to her? All the wives of Krishna were completely absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. Krishna is known as Yogeshwara, the master of all yogis, and all the wives of Krishna at Dwarka used to keep this Yogeshwara within their hearts instead of trying to be master of all yogic mystic powers. It is better if one simply keeps the supreme Yogeshwara Krishna within his heart. Thus, one's life can become perfect and one can very easily be transferred to the kingdom of Godhead. It is to be understood that all the queens of Krishna who lived with him at Dwarka were in their previous lives very greatly exalted devotees who wanted to establish a relationship with Krishna in conjugal love. Thus, they were given the chance to become his wives and enjoy a constant loving relationship with him. Ultimately, they were all transferred to the Vaikuntha planet. The supreme absolute truth, personality of Godhead is never impersonal. All the Vedic literatures glorify the transcendental performance of his various personal activities and pastimes. It is said that in the Vedas and in the Ramayana, only the activities of the Lord are described. Everywhere in the Vedic literature, his glories are sung as soon as soft-hearted people such as women. Now here comes the most, this one. Fundamental part. We think that Stri is Nimna Janma because it is mentioned. Soft-hearted. Woman is written. What better qualification do we need than being a woman? Because if you are soft-hearted, then you can connect with Krishna easily. So this is a very good qualification. So where were we? Soft-hearted women and girls are therefore very easily drawn to Krishna consciousness movement. One who has thus drawn to the Krishna consciousness movement and tries to keep himself in constant touch with such consciousness certainly gets the supreme salvation going back to Krishna in the Golok Vrindavan. If simply by developing Krishna consciousness one can be transferred to the spiritual world, one can simply imagine how blissful and blessed were the queens of Lord Krishna, who talked with him personally and saw Lord Krishna face to face. No one can properly describe the fortunes of the wives of Lord Krishna. They took care of him personally by rendering various transcendental service like bathing him, feeding him, pleasing him, serving him. Thus no one's austerities can compare to the services of the queens of Dwarka. Sukdev Goswami informed Maharaj Parikshit that for self-realization, the objective of self-realization is one, Krishna. Therefore, although the dealings of queens with Krishna appear just like ordinary dealings between husband and wife, the principal point to be observed is that Krishna's attachment for Krishna. Queen's attachment for Krishna. The entire process of austerity and penance is meant to detach one from the material world and enhance one's attachment to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is the shelter of all persons advancing in self-realization as an ideal householder. He lived with his wives and perform the Vedic rituals just to show less intelligent people that Supreme Personality, Supreme Lord is never impersonal. Krishna lived with wives and children in all opulence, exactly like an ordinary conditioned soul. Just to teach how souls who are actually conditioned that they must enter into family circle of Krishna, where he is the center. For example, the member of Yadu dynasty lived in the family of Krishna, and Krishna was the center of their activities. Now, this is very important. Renunciation is not important as enhancing one's attachment to Krishna. Now, please understand, both things happen simultaneously. It would not happen that this is happening but that is not happening. Both things would happen simultaneously. But of the two, what is more important? Developing attraction for Krishna and developing attachment for Krishna. Renunciation is not important as enhancing one's attachment for Krishna to Krishna. The Krishna consciousness movement is especially meant for this purpose. We are preaching the principle that it does not matter whether a man is a sannyasi or a grahastha householder. One simply has to increase the attachment for Krishna and then his life is successful. Following in the footsteps of Lord Krishna, one can live with his family members or within the society or nation, not for the purpose of indulging in sense gratification, but to realize Krishna by advancing in attachment for him. There are four principles of elevation from conditioned life to the life of liberation, which are technically known as Dhamma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Religion, economic development, sense gratification, liberation. If one lives a family life following in the footsteps of Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna's family members, one can achieve all four of these principles of success simultaneously by making Krishna the center of all activities. It is already known to us that Krishna had 16,108 wives. All these wives were exalted, liberated soul, and among them Queen Rukmani was the chief. After Rukmani, there were 7 other principal wives. And the name of the sons of these 8 principal queens have already been mentioned. Besides the sons born to these 8 queens, Lord Krishna had 10 sons by each of the other queens. Thus, although Krishna's sons are numbered 16,108 times 10, one should not be astonished to hear that Krishna had so many sons. One should always remember that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he has unlimited potencies. He claims all living entity as his son. So the fact that he had 1,61,080 sons attached to him personally should not be a cause of astonishment. Among Krishna's greatly powerful sons, 18 sons were Maharatha. The Maharathas could fight alone against many thousands of foot soldiers, charioteers, cavalry, and elephant. The reputations of these 18 sons are very widespread and are described in almost all the Vedic literature. The 18 Maharatha sons are listed as Pradyumna, Niruddha, Diptiman, Bhanu, Samba, Madhu, Brihadbhanu, Chitrabhanu, Vrika, Aruna, Pushkara, Vedabhanu, Shrutadeva, Sunandana, Chitrabhanu, Virupa, Kavi, and Nyagrodha. Of these 18 Maharatha sons of Krishna, Pradyumna is considered to be foremost. Pradyumna happened to be the eldest son of Queen Rukmani and he inherited all the qualities of his great father, Lord Krishna. He married the queen of his maternal uncle, Rukmani. From that marriage, Aniruddha was born. Aniruddha was so powerful that he could fight against 10,000 elephants. He married the grandson of Rukmani, the brother of the grandmother Rukmani. Because of the relationship between cousins was distant, such a marriage was not uncommon. Aniruddha's son was Vajra. When the whole Yadu dynasty was destroyed by the curse of some Brahmana, only Vajra survived. Vajra had only one son, whose name was Pratibahu. The son of Pratibahu was named as Subahu. The son of Subahu was named Santasena, and the son of Santasena was Shatasena. It is stated by Sukdev Goswami that all the members of the Yadu dynasty had many children, just as Krishna and had many sons. Grandson and great grandson, each one of these kings were herewith also had similar family extension. Not only did all of them had many children, but all were extraordinarily rich and opulent. None of them were weak or short-lived, and above all the members of the Yadu dynasty were staunch devotees of the Brahminical culture. It is the duty of a Kshatriya king to maintain the Brahminical culture and protect the qualified Brahmanas. And all the kings discharged their duties rightly. The members of the Yadu dynasty were so numerous that it would be very difficult to describe them all. Even if one had a duration of life of thousands of years, Shrutadev Goswami informed Maharaj Parikshit that he had heard from reliable sources that simply to teach the children of Yadu dynasty, there were as many as 38.8 million tutors or acharya. If so many teachers were needed to educate their children, one can simply imagine how vast was the number of family members. As for their military strength, it is said that King Ugrasena alone had 10 quadrillion soldiers as personal bodyguard. Before the advent of Lord Krishna within the universe, there were many battles between the demons and the demigod. Many demons died in fighting, and they all were given a chance to take birth in the high royal families on this earth. Because of their royal exalted position, all the demons became very much puffed up, and their only business was to harass their subject. Lord Krishna appeared on the planet just as the end of Dwapara Yuga to annihilate all the demoniac kings. As it is said in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, the Lord comes to protect the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants. Some of the demigods were asked to appear on the earth to assist in the transcendental pastime of Lord Krishna. When Krishna appeared, he came in association of his eternal servitors. But some of the demigods were also requested to come down to assist him, and thus they took their births in the Yadu dynasty. The Yadu dynasty had 101 clans in different parts of the country. All the members of these different clans respected Lord Krishna in a manner befitting his divine position, and all of them were his devotees, heart and soul. Thus, all the members of the Yadu dynasty were very opulent, happy, and prosperous, and they had no anxieties because of their implicit faith in the devotion of Lord Krishna. They were never defeated by any other kings. Their love for Krishna was so intense that in their regular activities, in sitting, sleeping, traveling, talking, sporting, cleansing, bathing, they were simply absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna and paid no attention to the bodily necessities. That is the symptom of a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Just as when a man is fully absorbed in particular thought he sometimes forgets his own bodily activities. The member of the Yadu dynasty acted automatically for their bodily. The members of the Yadu dynasty acted automatically for their bodily necessities, but their actual attention was only always fixed on Krishna. Their bodily activities were performed mechanically, but their minds were always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Srila Sukdev Goswami had concluded in the 90th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam by pointing out 5 particular excellence of Lord Krishna. The first excellence is that before Lord Krishna's appearance, just a minute. Before Lord Krishna's appearance in the Yadu dynasty, the river Ganges was known as the purest of all things. Even impure things could be purified simply by touching the water of the Ganges. The super excellent power of Ganges water was due to having emanated from the toe of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. But when Lord Krishna, the Supreme Vishnu, appeared in the family of Yadu dynasty, he travelled personally throughout the kingdom of the Yadu, and by his intimate association with the Yadu dynasty, the whole family not only became very famous but also became more effective in purifying than the water of the Ganges. The next excellence of Lord Krishna's appearance was that although he apparently gave protection to the devotees and annihilated the demons, both the devotees and the demons achieved the same result. Lord Krishna is the bestower of 5 kinds of liberation, which is known as Sayujya Mukti, or the liberation of becoming one with the Supreme Lord, was given to demons like Kamsa, whereas gopis were given the chance to associate with him personally. The gopis of Lord Krishna, but Kamsa was accepted into the impersonal Brahma Jyotir. In other words, both the demons and the gopis were spiritually liberated, but because of the demons were enemies and gopis were friends, the demons were killed and gopis protected. The third excellence of Lord Krishna's appearance was that the goddess of fortune, he is worshipped by demigods like Brahma, Indra and Chandra, remained always engaged in the service of Lord, even though the Lord gave more preference to the gopis. Lakshmiji, the goddess of fortune, tried her best to be on an equal level with gopis, but she was not successful. Nevertheless, she remained faithful to Krishna, although she generally does not remain in one place, even if worshipped by demigods like Lord Brahma. The fourth excellence of Lord Krishna's appearance, concerns the glories of his name. It is stated in Vedic literature that by chanting the different names of Lord Vishnu 1,000 times, one may be bestowed the same benefit as by chanting the lotus name of Lord Krishna just once. One receives the same benefit. In other words, of all the holy names, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, including Vishnu and Rama, the holy name of Krishna is most powerful. The Vedic literature, therefore, specifically stresses the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya introduced this chanting of the holy names of Krishna in this age, thus making liberation much more easily obtainable than in other ages. In other words, Lord Krishna is more excellent than his incarnation, although all of them are equally the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The fifth excellence of Lord Krishna's appearance is that he established the most excellent of all religious principles by his one statement in Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering onto him, one can discharge all the principles of religious rites. In the Vedic literature, there are 20 kinds of religious principles mentioned, and each of them is described in different shastra. But Lord Krishna is so kind to the fallen conditioned soul of this age that he personally appeared and asked everyone to give up all kind of religious rites and simply surrender unto him. It is said that this age of Kali is 3/4 devoid of religious principles. Hardly 1/4 of the principles of the religion are still observed in this age. But by the mercy of Lord Krishna, not only has the void of Kali Yuga been completely filled, but the religious process has been made so easy that simply by rendering transcendental loving service unto Lord Krishna, by chanting his holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, one can achieve the highest result of religion, namely being transferred to the highest planet within the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan. Considering all this, one can immediately appreciate the benefit of Lord Krishna's appearance on the earth and understand that he is giving relief to the people of this world by his appearance was not at all extraordinary. Srila Sukdev Goswami thus concludes his description of the super exalted position of Lord Krishna, glorifying him in the following way: O Lord Krishna, all glories unto you. You are present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, therefore you are known as Jnani Vasa. Jnani Vasa, one who lives in the heart, in everyone's heart. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridayeshe Arjuna Tishtati. The Supreme Lord in his Paramatma feature lives within everyone's heart. This does not mean, however, that Krishna has no separate existence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Mayavadi philosopher accepts the all-pervading feature of Parabrahman, but when Parabrahman or the Supreme Lord appears, they think that he appears under the control of material nature, because Lord Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki. The Mayavadi philosophers accept Krishna to be an ordinary living entity who takes birth within this material world. Therefore, Sukdev Goswami warns them, Devaki Janma Vada, which means that although Krishna is famous as the son of Devaki, actually he is super soul and all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotees, however, take the word Devaki Janma Vada in a different way. The devotees understand that actually Krishna was the son of Mother Yashoda. Although Krishna first appeared as the son of Devaki, and his childhood pastimes are blissfully enjoyed by Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaj. This fact was admired by Vasudeva himself. And when he met Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda at Kurukshetra, he admired that Krishna and Balram were actually the sons of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. Vasudeva and Devaki were only their official father and mother. Their actual father and mothers were Nanda and Yashoda. Therefore, Sukdev Goswami described Lord Krishna as Devaki Janma Vada. Sukdev Goswami. Now, one thing here. Please take this with a pinch of salt. These are all ecstasy mode, right? Pure devotees may talk to us in this manner, but we should not be leniently just look down upon someone and look up upon someone. No, we had never do this. If you do this, it would be a sin. So you should look at devotees very respectfully, and devotees may talk in ecstasy mode. Please always remember that. They may talk in ecstasy mode. They are of higher level. Sukdev Goswami then glorifies Lord as one who is honored by Yadu Vara Parisat, the assembly house of the Yadu dynasty and the killer of different kinds of demons. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, could have killed all the demons by employing his different material energies, but he wanted to kill them personally to give them salvation. The demons simply by millions of demons could have been killed without his personal endeavor, but actually he descended for his pure devotees to play the inhabitants of Dwarka. By killing the demon and giving protection to the devotees, Lord Krishna established the real religious principle, which is simply love of God. By following the factual religious principle of love, the living entity known as Sthira were also delivered of all material contamination and transferred to the spiritual kingdom. Sthira means trees and plants which cannot move. Chara means moving animals, especially the cows. When Krishna was present, he delivered all the trees, monkeys, and other plants and animals who happened to see him and serve him both in Vrindavan and Dwarka. Lord Krishna is especially glorified for giving pleasure to the gopis and the queen of Dwarka. Sukdev Goswami glorifies Lord Krishna for his enchanting smile by which he enchanted not only Dwarka. The exact word used in the connection was Vardhayam Kama Deva. In Vrindavana, as the boyfriend of many gopis, and in Dwarka as the husband of many queens, Krishna increased their lusty desires to enjoy him. For God realization or self-realization, one generally has to undergo severe austerities and penances for many thousands of years, and then it may be possible to realize God. But the gopis and the queens of Dwarka, simply by enhancing their lusty desire